Okay, so I'm making these 2 ingredient chocolate fudge brownies with no dairy. I have a cup of very ripened organic bananas. I use 3 bananas to make a cup. I don't have a double boiler, so I used a tin pan. This is 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate that I'm melting in a pan over a pot of boiling water. So that's 2 cups, and they're just about done melting. And I have a 9-inch little baking pan. Was my mom's. It's very old, with parchment paper. It lined with parchment paper. My stove is set at 350 and it's preheating. So after this is finished melting, I'm going to mix the bananas in with the melted semi-sweet chocolate. You want to use semi-sweet chocolate, not regular milk chocolate, and not any other kind of chocolate, just semi-sweet. Use semi-sweet. There's another semi-something that you don't want to use, but you want the semi-sweet chocolate morsels. Alright, and this is just about done. Now, the instructions that I was reading calls for you mixing this in a big pot after it's melted in the microwave in a glass Pyrex mixing bowl, but I don't own a microwave. I don't like microwaves. And so I'm doing it this way. So I'm just going to mix everything in this little pan when these morsels are all the way finished melting. These morsels look like regular morsels, semi-sweet baking chip morsels. There's a picture. I used 2 cups of those, and that's what you see melting here. So they started off as little chocolate chunks. You can still see some of them in there melting down. At first it was not this easy to stir, and I am having a challenge holding this pan in place. You see how it's kind of swishing around? That was kind of an issue for me, but it's almost melted. I'm going to let it melt a little bit longer. I've even been able to put one of my pot lids over the top of this to kind of help it along. So I just basically made my own double boiler here. So then what I'm going to do, and see, I have to do all this stuff for you guys with one hand because I don't have a camera crew. Ow! Okay, so all I'm going to do is take this pureed banana mixture, and you want them pureed. You don't want to mash them with a fork because you'll have lumps. You want them pureed so much that once they finish blending, they start splashing on the lid of your container. That's how you know they're done being pureed, because at first you're just going to get some of the banana residue on the sides, but when it gets completely liquefied, it'll start covering the top of your food processor. Okay, so let's see. We got these. I'm really tempted to just do this now the way that it is, and then I'll gonna bake it in the oven. Let's see if we can get this in here without making a crazy mess. I'm gonna try to pour this in here now with one hand because I'm using my other hand to hold the it's not gonna come out, so we're just gonna pour this in there. And you want it to be like regular brownie mix. So this is the pureed banana. You see how pureed that is? There's no chunks in there, right? So that looks like it's about a cup. Right? I'm going to try to get all of this in there. And you know, if I had my other hand, I would be scraping all that goodness out of there. So, let's see if I can trim this video so you get to see the before and after all in one video. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. So we got the banana puree and the semi-sweet chocolate, and these are supposed to turn out just like chocolate fudge brownies, okay, just from this mixture, with no eggs, no dairy, and no milk, no butter. So I'm just mixing this all together. I'm really tempted to put some walnuts in here because I love walnuts in my brownies. So I just want to mix that in really well. So I'm going to leave this sitting here for a second before we put it into the parchment paper. And let me get some of my walnuts over here. I got some California baking pieces, and I'm just going to sprinkle a handful of these into this mixture. I love nuts in my brownies. Okay, we're not baking this in here, and this is already starting to form a little. Okay, so I'm hoping this is mixed together good enough, and then we're going to pour it into the it's lined with parchment paper. You do not want to use any oil or anything on here, okay, because it'll affect the outcome. It looks like I've got this mixed together pretty well now. I think we're ready to pour this. So look at how well that's mixed, and it's just like a brownie batter, right? So we're just going to turn this boiler off and hopefully pour this in here without burning myself very quickly here. Let me get that out the way. Woo! Alright, now we're just going to pour this in here. Let me see if I can do this and let you guys watch without me hurting myself. Okay. I'm getting ready to pour this into here, and then we're going to bake it. Okay. Here we go. And we'll see how that turns out. I think I might need some more. I'm going to scrape all that out. So that's it. Then we're going to pop it in the oven. Hold on.